Guys, we are in here in studio. Michael Holley, Tom E. Curran, Matt Cassel, Amina Smith here with you. And all the storylines, all the buildup for this matchup came down to that moment, that field goal. 56 yards for Nick Folk, and he hits the uprights. Tom, I'll start with you. How heartbreaking maybe is that for fans to see it end like that?
I don't think so. I mean, I just think that the progress made by this team, yeah, did you have a great opportunity to knock off the defending Super Bowl champions and get hand up on Tom Brady, who is living his best life? Yes, you did. You didn't, but the big upshot, Mike, is you're going to come out of this game and you're feeling like everything came full circle. Tom Brady is no longer a Patriots quarterback. He plays for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You got it out of your system. You spent 60 minutes cheering against him,
right.
And now you have an answer. Not a temp, not an Andy Dalton, not a Cam Newton. You got a rookie first-rounder who can play.
Yeah, maybe you got the Brady thing out of your system. Maybe you do, right? Because most people in that stadium tonight, that 56-yard field goal attempt from Nick Folk, they wanted to see him make it. They didn't want Brady to walk out and say, hey, I told you so. But I think this game comes down to having elite playmakers. And if the Patriots had more, maybe they have those guys, but you got to make those plays. And you think about what the Buccaneers did tonight. You know, Tom Brady picking up 6 yards when he absolutely needed to in a critical situation. The Buccaneers forcing a fumble on J.J. Taylor when they absolutely needed to. The game was turning around. They forced a fumble there. So they came up with huge plays when they needed to. And the Patriots, and we were talking, Cassel, I'm going to toss it to you. We were talking, and we said, look, after the trick play where Jacoby Myers hits Nelson Aguilar, if they can find a way to score here, that will really put a lot of pressure on the Buccaneers. Touchdown. But they didn't. They got a field goal. And so, Cassel, I just feel like they just keep coming up short because they got the effort, but they don't have the elite playmakers who can just put them over the top.
Yeah, you know what? It's one of those situations where it was a devastating loss because it came down to the 56-yard field goal, off the goal post, everything that takes place there. But the thing for everybody in New England right now, they found their guy. Mac Jones, this game was put into his hands. We talked about it in pregame. We talked about it, about how they're going to blitz him. They're going to come after him, and they're a really good rush defense. They rushed for -1 yards today, the New England Patriots.
It was
all on Mac Jones today. How are you going to perform? How are you going to respond? When the Tampa Bay went down, scored a touchdown, what does he do? He comes right back, answers. When they went and scored a field goal to take the lead again, go and answer again. He did it time and time again. He was the entire production of that offensive unit today. 275 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, and he was under duress all game long. I mean, I was so impressed with how he played, the composure that he had, the hits that he took, kept getting up. But not only that, defensively, they played a solid game today, right? They didn't get maybe the sacks and the pressure that they wanted, but all in all, they were in that game until the very end, and this very easily could have been a victory.
The agitation is, again, very easily could have been a victory. So the agitation for me is, I understood that they weren't going to have the playmakers that Tampa Bay has, but Amina, the agitation is penalties, defensive substitution miscues, a fumble by J.J. Taylor. Look, fumbles happen, it's rainy, all that stuff. And the Bucs had plenty of mistakes too, but the Patriots have run out, to a degree, Amina, of their opportunities to make mistakes when you add in mistakes made last week against New Orleans and against Miami. It's harder to excuse the non-physical or limitations. It's harder to excuse mistakes that you cause yourself, and we saw some of those.
In pregame, I was going to HR to complain about you guys. But now you guys are going to go to HR and complain about me because I don't like the way you're talking. I don't like what you're saying. Listen. The Patriots are 1-3. I don't want like Mac Jones. We know Mac Jones can play. We know that they've got the right guy. I knew that. I knew that before this game. They need to. Their season is in peril because they couldn't make it up. Yes, they're 1-3.
So there's no moral victory here for them.
No, I don't believe in moral victories.
Like
no. This is not a moral victory night. It's
Absolutely
not.
Is.
No. It's going to be hard for you to make the playoffs. We thought this was a playoff team at the beginning of the year. This team has come out of the gates. We thought maybe they come out 3-1 after Tampa Bay, or 2-2, but they're 1-3 after losing yet another winnable game at home. They haven't won a home game yet. And it's October.
Despite
I don't
your
want to hear about
bold
more victories.
Despite your bold
I thought
prediction
they could
before
pull
the
it
game,
off.
this was not a winnable game.
Well,
No one was good. You did, but
How do you
did
say
it.
it's not a
I don't know,
winnable
the game
game?
didn't look
How do you
pretty
say that?
It was a winnable game 60 minutes after we watched 60 minutes of play, but it wasn't a winnable game when they took the field based upon the performance that they've put in the first 3 weeks.
True.
They went against a team that is superior to it. Yeah, there were Bucs injuries, but to me, progress was made in terms of the performance from the offensive coordinator, the quarterback, the offensive line. There's a lot to work on, but there's an upside and an arc that's going to go on, and they're going to finish 14-3, Michael.
But I will say this.
I didn't say that.
This is one of those games that is like one that is going to give this team confidence, right? They just went up against the Super Bowl defending champions that on paper, right? I mean, at least I was sitting there going, this is probably going to be a boat race just based on how they performed the first 3 games. Look, they were able to put together a complete game today, right? They were able to, other than the run game, they were able to play good defense. They were able to play good offensively, and at least in the pass game, Mac Jones stepped up obviously in that area. But this team can use this and catapult them to the next level, give them confidence moving forward so that when they get in the next game and they get into a tough opponent, they're like, look, we've been here before. We can compete against anybody in this league, including the defending Super Bowl champions.
Moral.
And now
Victory.
we've got to go in, make the corrections, and come back stronger in the next week. So I definitely think this is a game that's going to give this team confidence moving forward.
And you see Bill Belichick right there with the quick handshake to Tom Brady. And again, I go back to the fact that these two have worked and played together and won Super Bowls together for 20 years. Holley, how odd is it to see Bill Belichick just go up to Tom Brady with the plain, just one hand hug, not even a hug. He just tapped him on the back. And then you see Josh McDaniels, they spend about 60 seconds, maybe more, sitting there hugging and talking to each other.
Yeah, I don't think it's not just Belichick. We talked earlier this week on our Brady is Back shows, one of those Brady is Back shows, and we were talking about who's the greatest player in NFL history and greatest athlete in sports history. There's a lot of debate there. But I think what makes Tom Brady stand out is his elite leadership. You can't fake what just happened at the end of that game. I'm glad NBC showed it on the broadcast. There are special relationships with every person who came up to him, whether it was an assistant to Bill Belichick, Brandon Bolden, a young guy like Chase Winovich, J.C. Jackson, a guy like Matthew Slater who had an extended conversation with him, Josh McDaniels. He's a leader, and it's special. See, I think from a fan standpoint, guys, you say, hey, Tom Brady's gone, and that hurts. But what really, the impact is in the building. When you just take away the presence and the play of Tom Brady, that's where he's irreplaceable.
I don't care right now. I mean, I think it's done. I weirdly feel that. I mean, I understand why we're talking about it. We spent 2 weeks talking about it. No one hammered it more than me, and nobody over the course of the last 20 years in the media has spent more time genuflecting at the altar of Brady and enjoying the opportunity to cover him. But I just feel cleansed of the story now, and I'm definitely on to what we're looking at. And again, that's me. I just wonder if I'm in the minority here.
Yes.
I'm excited at the end of this game. I am?
Yes.
I'm excited at the end of this game.
You didn't think that was special, what we just saw there?
Oh, no, it was definitely.
Yeah,
I said to you, I think it's great that NBC is sticking with this. But if you said, what do you want to talk about? I want to talk about this all night. I mean, Brady looked like Brady has in 18 and 19 when he played here. That's one of the interesting upshots of this game. They had scored 30 points or more in 9 of their last 10 games, the Buccaneers had. They scored, 19 tonight?
19
points.
They hadn't scored less than 24 since last November 8th,
which is the second
calendar year.
Which is the second, tied for the second lowest, the Brady era.
So that's huge, man. I mean, that's
Brady era in Tampa, which is also strange.
So that's why I'm on from Tampa, Brady, Brady Patriots, Brady Belichick, and on to, all right, let's see what happens at Houston. This is not a bad team.
Yeah, it's not a bad team. I mean, they're going to be able to compete week in and week out if they go out there and play the way that they did tonight. There's no doubt about that.
And so you talked about, Tom, the fact that this team went out there and they made mistakes. However, what could you take away based off of what the Patriots did this week? How much better do they look than they did in weeks 1, 2, and 3, knowing that this team is really going to take some time to kind of gel together?
They put the ball into Mac Jones' hands, Matt. Matt, they just put it over to him. We can't run. We can't come up with anything. We don't have any guys who are making plays. We can't run outside. Let's give it to Mac and see what he does.
And that was the biggest statement of the game, right? It was the simple fact that look, we have to trust this guy. We have to trust Mac Jones that he's going to go out and make plays for us. And unfortunately, we can't get anything going in the run game. But will he respond? Will he perform when he knows he's going to get pressured, when he knows he's going to get hit and be under duress? Can he deliver the ball? And even go back to the series when they go down and they had to overcome the 2 holding penalties, right? And he hits the 2 in cuts and gets first downs on that drive, sustains the drive, goes down, scores. I mean, those are big-time plays and big-time moments. And this was kind of his coming out party, I think, in terms of showing that there's a new guy in town, and you guys can get excited about this, a young player who can go out there and have that type of composure in this setting against Tom Brady, the best quarterback of all time, against a great defense, and then perform the way that he did. I mean, it's really exciting to see where he'll go from here.
Lest we be accused of burying the lead. Now, it's not necessarily a second guess if you say it in the moment. That's not a second guess, right? 56-yard field goal attempt from Nick Folk. 56-yarder. It's 4th and 3, and you got Mac Jones. So if you're going to put the ball in Mac Jones' hands and you have confidence in him, why not? Why not just 3? And you could do it. You have the entire field because you have plenty of time. Time's not an issue. If you pick up that first down, you can run up, you can spike it, you can run a couple more plays and get closer. Why not go for it?
I got an idea. Matt, do you think that Bill Belichick might have said, I'd rather put it on my 39-year-old kicker than my 23-year-old quarterback if we walk off this field with a loss?
You know, it was an opportunity to take the lead, is what it was.
But
right?
I mean, like, if you have a choice, so you're either going to run a 4th and 3, a little thing to Kevin Fox, or
4th and 3 with guys bringing pressure, and they just saw what happened the play before on 3rd and 3. They get the ball knocked down. They know what's coming on. They're going to jump them at the stick. So they said, you know what? Let's let Nick Folk go out there and see if he can hit it. He had the leg. Again, it's a game of inches, man, and it goes off the goalpost. But it's the right decision. You have an opportunity to win the game with a guy that you trust as a field goal kicker who's been phenomenal for you since he's been here. I mean, why not go out and see if you can win the game right there?
I don't go for a 56-yarder.
I don't hate it.
It's the right decision.
I'm like, we talk about Bill Belichick and Josh McDaniels trusting Mac Jones, and you're on 4th and 3, and you don't give your rookie quarterback the ball in that situation, then it's like you trust him, but maybe you don't trust him all the way.
But he plays percentages, right?
I don't think it had anything to do with not trusting Mac Jones. We saw it throughout the course of a game. I think it was an opportunity like, hey, we've got an opportunity to take the lead right now. We've got one chance to kick it. A lot of different things can happen on 4th and 3 in that circumstance. We know that they're going to pressure us. Let's give ourselves an opportunity to win the game now. And not just roll the dice on a fourth and three play and know how they've been performing on the 3rd down. They were 2 of 8, I think, tonight on 3rd down. So they haven't been good in that type of situation all game. Let's put it in the hands of Nick Folk, or the foot, whatever you want to call it, right?
Hands,
and kick the field goal and try to take the lead.
Mind, heart, body, soul.
Everything.
Yeah, everything.